Alright, let's call a spade a spade. I'm essentially forcing myself to make this video at this point. God knows I'd want to do anything else with my time right now, but at this point I'm so close to the finish line that I might as well just keep going. Released in 2015 as a standalone expansion to Saints Row 4, Gat Out of Hell is, well, it's a thing. I originally made a video a year or so ago that was basically my aggressively negative first impressions, but I've decided to return to give this game a fair chance. Plus, I've already bought it like 3 times already, so I might as well get my money's worth. Funnily enough, while I had heard of the Saints Row series in 2015, this is the only game I extensively knew about before getting into this series 2 years ago. Time passes by way too fucking fast. Back when this released at the age of 14, my younger cousin told me all about this crazy game that's just like GTA, but weirder. And the newest game is called Gat Out of Hell, a title which I didn't understand at the time. Regardless of how funny that pun was, my dad obviously wasn't buying that shit. But his dad did, so I got to hear through secondhand accounts about how cool this game was, only for it to become one of my least favorite games I've ever played for the channel, and just in general. But before I get to talk about my life, before I get to talk about how my life got twisted and turned it upside down, I'd like to take a minute and just sit right there to talk about this fucking bullshit story. I am a comedic genius. The Saints are celebrating Matt's birthday by playing with the Ouija board. Time out! We're only 10 seconds in and I'm already calling it quits. What is this, fucking high school? Anyway, their cringy behavior leads to the boss being dragged into hell to be married to the devil's daughter, Jezebel. So Johnny and Kinsey go to save them. That's it. Yeah, some classic characters like Dane, the twins, and Dex are all here, but they're mostly just included for the sake of it. Don't get me wrong, I'm very glad that they all got to return, and I completely understand that standalone expansions are meant to be almost micro games in order for them to turn a profit off of a popular base title. But you can call this game Mr. Fantastic because it's most definitely a stretch. Most of the substantial story stuff is done through drawn cutscenes that are then narrated by Jane Austen from Saints 4. The rest is just... I know there has to be some way for me to be free.
What if it doesn't work?
The bus is counting on us.
You think I don't know?
Yeah, I'll take Jane Austen for 200, Alex. R.I.P.
I really miss my wigger.
The actual game itself is just a bare-bones copy of Saints Row 4, which added superpowers to the third. And, like I alluded to in my Saints Row 2 video, the entire game just consists of copy and pasted side content from previous installments that's split up by occasional story content, which is, fucking annoying. The only new additions I can think of is the ability to play as Kinsey or Johnny, which is pretty superfluous, since they play exactly the same, but I'm glad that it's here. There's also wings that allow you to fly, which is very different from Saints 4's gliding. The flying honestly feels amazing. It's exhilarating, intuitive, enjoyable, and just makes hellblazing the best part of this game, hands down. But then that leaves us with literally everything else. Horde mode after mayhem, after insurance fraud, after horde mode, after hideout, after mayhem. It felt like I was in a constant state of monotony for 4 hours. I understand that this game was made as a fun experiment to make something as goofy as possible with the Saints Row name, but at the end of the day, it's still a game that you have to enjoy playing. But it seems like the focus here was the comedy of hell being just like Earth except red, or having Johnny and Jezebel sing like they're in a Disney movie. I'm all for comedic games, but I don't think that I'm out of line by saying that this is a bit much. Thankfully, as per usual, Daniel Day Kim, Natalie Lander, Jay Moore, and newcomers to the series like Matthew Mercer make this game relatively easy to sit through. They can even make some jokes land, particularly the scene where Johnny and Jezebel meet for the first time. The end of this game is oddly satisfying and not for the obvious joke you may think. Since Gat stops Satan from storming heaven, God, who's voiced by Nathan Fillion, offers 7 different outcomes. So the game ends up using the concept of the multiverse to offer any and every ending a player could want. While the seemingly canonical retcon ending sets up the spin-off Agents of Mayhem, I personally chose the ending where Johnny gets to join Aisha in heaven. It was nice to finally see a happy ending in this franchise, especially right after completing Saints 2. The rest of them, like the one where Johnny finds a new homeworld for the rest of humanity, are varying degrees of alright, but it's nice to see that a spin-off game even has this much thought put into where the series could possibly go next. But even when I'm having fun with this game, something would break it or pull me out of the experience. Like the fact that the save file format for Saints Row 4 on PC was changed, so now Gat Out of Hell can't adapt your boss from Saints 4, which is a huge bummer for a series where character customization is a pretty big deal. I also constantly had this issue where Hellblazing would just freeze the game, forcing me to exit out and then redo the mission. It is 1:31 a.m. It froze for the third time. No matter what I do, Trailblazing or Hellblazing just fucking freezes the shit out of this game. Yes, the core gameplay is fun, but that's only because it's still just Saints 3 with enjoyable flying mechanics. And that's honestly all it really has going for it. The 4 hours I spent in New Hades was fine, but was not anywhere close to the rest of the series, Saints 4 included. I get that this game was probably made for dirt cheap with little to no time, but that doesn't mean that its flaws get to be ignored because they made a haha. There's been plenty of other asset flip games that are at the very least decent, and Gat Out of Hell scrapes right under that bar. Save for the flying and the ending, there is absolutely nothing done here that's better or even as fun as the games preceding it. I don't hate Gat Out of Hell because it's egregiously bad. I hold a strong disdain for it because it's boring, repetitive, obnoxious, and offers no substantial story content outside of its endings. If you really liked 4 and you're just begging for more of that, then be my guest. But if you're like me and couldn't give less of a flying fuck, then save your time and money and just watch the endings on YouTube. And that's pretty much all the energy I have in me to talk about Gat Out of Hell. It's the worst game in the franchise. I haven't even played 1, and I can say that without a fucking doubt. There's only 2 more installments left in this franchise until the reboot's release later this year, so I'll be talking about those sometime before then. I need a break from Saints Row. I don't want to think about it for a very long time. Anyways, I hope you'll enjoy this video. Like, subscribe, and all that jazz. I mean it. It helps me a metric fuck ton. I'll catch you guys next time. Later, kids. Have a good night.
My favorite part of murdering is the murdering part.
Saints Row has been such a consistent part of my life for the last 4 years.
Say what you want about the Saints, but at least they let you play as a woman.
Woohoo! Go team. Kinsey just speaks the truth. She tells it as it is.